So just when you thought that what you knew about the Cabo Six couldn't get any worse, new details are emerging in the Shanquella Robinson case. So basically, it's been almost 5 months and nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. And we have video evidence that shows that an ambush took place just hours before the autopsy report revealed Shanquella's time of passing. But since nothing has happened, Shanquella's family has had to get attorneys to actually push the cause for justice further. And with that, attorney Sue Ann Robinson went to Mexico to get more information about the actual status of the case. Because, of course, the FBI was telling Shanquella's family, oh, we can't talk about the investigation. Mexican authorities were telling Shanquella's family, oh, we sent all the paperwork. We're done. We can't say any more. And let's not forget that this just happened a few weeks ago. Attorney Sue Ann Robinson just went to Mexico a few weeks ago, and we know what's been going on down in Mexico, from the taking of American citizens, the getting rid of American citizens, and all of a sudden handing over apologies and suspects who, instead of looking like they have been worked over, they're sitting there grinning in photos. So in order to get justice, an actual attorney, instead of relying on our justice system, an actual attorney has to go to Mexico. She is a mother of two. She is an American citizen. She is African American citizen. So she has to go to Mexico, where they are snatching up people and doing away with people at random, supposedly. She has to go there to get justice. And when she gets there, does our consulate help her? No. Do they provide any sort of liaison that they're supposed to, any sort of protection that they're supposed to? Nope. Basically, they told her if she needs to know more, they need to talk to the Cabo Six. Now, I'm not even going to get into that because the level of disrespect is too much. I don't want to get angry. I'm already angry, so I don't want to get over the top angry about that. But yeah, talk to the Cabo Six if you need to know more, because we're done here, right? Wrong. So, attorney Sue Ann Robinson went to Mexico, spoke with the DA's office for that area, and was given an information packet, an investigation packet that showed all the information that they had up until this point about the Shanquella Robinson case. So there were interview reports, there were autopsy reports, there were death certificates, all of those things. So Sue Ann Robinson comes back to the U.S. and she compiles all this information into an 18-page document so that she can give it to the State Department, to the Department of Justice, to the President. They did this March 3rd was when she first gave the information. She gave the State's Department first. They were in a press conference outside of the building. They went in, gave the information, and yet here we are again 15 days later, and still nothing. Only thing that did come out of that is that she had to go ahead and write a letter to the president. And that was something that she just sent off on March 13th. And finally, the White House, after all this time, makes a statement about how devastating the situation is. But in the letter that she sent to the president, there were new details about one of these interviews that the Mexican authorities had with the concierge at the villa where Shanquella and those people stayed. And he just told it all, basically. So basically, He said that his point of contact, the person that he was in contact with, was actually Dejanay Jackson. She was the one that he saw as the person who pulled the trip together. So she was handling all the details. So when he needed to talk to them about anything, that was who would be reaching out to him or who he would reach out to. Now, in this interview with the police, he actually said that the night that they came, the first night that they were there, which was October 28, 2022, they were all in there for dinner. They were in the dining room getting ready to have their taco dinner, and everyone was there except Shanquella. And Shanquella came in late, and he said he knew something was off. She was the last person to join the group for dinner, and she seemed not to fit in with the others. He said that he greeted her, but she did not smile or say anything to him. She was indifferent. Nothing to do with the atmosphere of celebration. She was out of place at the party. And that, it kind of tracks, because if you guys remember that video, one of the last videos that was posted to Shanquella's Instagram stories, it showed her roaming around the villa looking for everybody, and she couldn't find anyone. They weren't answering her back when she was calling out to them, and then they were all in that last room just kikiing it up, chuckling and everything, until she walked in. And when Shanquella walked in, the room went silent. They were throwing her looks, and then they started, trying to play it off with some talking about keeping it hot, whatever. It's just, you saw that they weren't feeling her like that. They're having fun. They don't know why she was there except for what she could bring, maybe materially, to the table for them. So it definitely tracks. What he says he noticed is what we all saw in that video. And the thing about it is, when we did the timeline, when we look at the timeline about when Shanquella's mother said that she spoke with her, the last thing that Shanquella said to her mother was that she was going in for dinner. Now, basically, Shanquella got off the phone with her mother, went into dinner, but you have to wonder what happened between the time when we saw them basically icing her out when she walked into that room, and then talking to her mother and going into dinner. Something she must have noticed something. We were all thinking, well, we saw the vibe change. Did she? Maybe she did, because according to the concierge, when she actually came into dinner, she wasn't part of the celebration. She was not part of the group. He spoke and she didn't even respond back, because maybe she was so thinking like, I need to get out of here. Something's not right. Something is off. She could have been thinking that she needs to leave. Now, of course, things like that happen. She didn't want to maybe alarm her mother. Maybe that's why she didn't give any indication of what could possibly have been going on the phone call. Or maybe, how we talk ourselves out of things. Oh, you're just imagining it. So it could have been any of those things. But in that press conference that Shanquella Robinson, the attorney, Ben Crump, and Shanquella's family gave on March 3rd, Tequila Long, Shanquella's sister, got up there and said that Shanquella wasn't one for the drama. She didn't surround herself with drama. So what Tequila thinks happened is that she saw something was going down, and she wanted to leave, but they would not let her. She actually said that in the press conference. She said she thinks that Shanquella wanted to leave, but the Cabo Six would not let her. And I mean, based on what the concierge is saying, that could be the case. It's definitely something that could have happened there. Okay, so basically, he was saying he saw her. She was the last person there. She wasn't smiling, didn't fit in. He spoke. It's like she didn't even respond, probably because she was not really focused on that. She was trying to figure a way out before anything else went down there. So, fast forward, next day, 1:50 p.m. Concierge gets a text from Dejanay Jackson, who asked if he was available. They needed medical services because she thinks her friend has alcohol poisoning and they need someone to translate or speak Spanish for them. So again, this is 1:50 p.m. the next day. The concierge offered to send a doctor who spoke English and could determine if Shanquella needed to go to the hospital. So Dejanay agreed and asked that the doctor be sent as soon as possible. So you see right here, the whole, she thinks her friend has alcohol poisoning. She's already starting her smear campaign because that's what they did. This whole thing saying, oh, it was alcohol poisoning. Oh, she basically had too much to drink. She didn't control her drinking. She was irresponsible. That's the narrative. So they're doing a smear campaign on Shanquella's name. They started it right then and there when they reached out to the concierge. Oh, she has alcohol poisoning. So in that person's mind, oh, this person doesn't know how to drink responsibly. So that's a smear campaign. She started right then and there. Okay, so the concierge, he gets the doctor to the villa. The doctor then gives him a call. It looks like it was around 4:20 p.m. So the doctor reaches out to the concierge, tells him that, oh, Shanquella's not in serious condition, but she is unconscious. So they need to get an IV in her and she needs to be hospitalized. Now, according to the certificate that we all know about, they said time of death was 3 o'clock, around 3 p.m. So if this doctor is reaching out to the concierge at 4:20, talking about her condition is not serious, but she's unconscious and needs to be hospitalized, come on, okay? Come on. That's whatever. We already know. We already know. There was collusion, conspiracy going on there. How is a doctor going to see a person who is unconscious, basically not responsive, not to mention, oh my goodness, there are bruises all over her body. She had her eye, like there was a blood vessel burst in her eye, so her eye was bloody. Really, there's a lump on the back of her head. But, oh, it's not serious? The condition's not serious? Okay, so, again, we already know what was going on with that doctor and with that Cabo 6 group. We definitely know. Okay, so they end up calling the ambulance. The concierge spoke with his boss, basically, who was the administrator of the villa. The administrator of the villa told the concierge, hey, she's gone. Like, Shanquella had passed. There's an ambulance here. I need you to get over here to the villa. So concierge goes to the villa. He gets there and he sees one of the guests walking in and out of the villa, back and forth, pacing on the phone. Said he was a regular build with short hair. So possibly could have either been Khalil or Nazir. Now I'm thinking it's Khalil because he was on the phone, and based on what Shanquella's sister said in an interview a while back, he's the one who called them to tell them what was going on. So about this time, the ambulance is there. He's back and forth, pacing in and out the villa on the phone, probably talking to Shanquella's family and whoever else they needed to reach out to get the story straight. Because when we saw the actual video that went viral, that ambush video, we saw that not only were they filming it, but they were streaming it, because there were people on the other end who you could hear in the background saying, "Damn." So it wasn't only just those in the room that were watching, it was whoever was on the other end of that stream. So whether or not it was FaceTime or whether or not it was just video calling through some other application, it wasn't just those people in the room that saw what was happening in real time. Okay, so he gets to the concierge. He sees probably Khalil walking back and forth on the phone. Dejanay comes out and then goes towards Khalil to talk with him. She goes back in. She comes back out again and back and forth. So he goes into the villa. The concierge goes into the villa and he sees everyone else just sitting around in the living room area, near the bar, near the dining table, and they were just calm and relaxed. It was not no crying, and there was no weeping, no looking, oh my gosh, what's happening, what's going on with their friend, oh no, this is terrible. They were calm and relaxed, just sitting on the couch. So eventually he reaches out to Dejanay, and he's like, do you need a hug? Can I give you a hug? He gives her a hug, and he says the hug is very cold and indifferent, the way she responded to him in this hug. But also, she tells him that she can't believe it happened so fast, that her friend is now gone from having had too much to drink. So again, another smear campaign right in person saying, oh my gosh, she couldn't handle her liquor. She didn't drink responsibly. She had too much to drink. It is all her fault. Smear campaign right then and there. Okay. So he gets ready to leave. The concierge gets ready to leave. As he's leaving, he sees a very sad, skinny girl who is visibly in pain. Now, just from his description, I'm thinking it could have possibly been Elise Hyatt. Just because he said skinny, it looked like Winter Donovan has a bit of more of a curve to her, and he would have said Dejanay if it was Dejanay. So it seems like it was possibly Elise that he said was very sad and was in pain. So now that could be because maybe she had we don't know if she just got the news about her sister, but remember, Elise is the one whose sister had been taken out the day that they actually left for Cabo. So on October 28th, Elise Hyatt's sister had been taken out by, I believe it was allegedly her ex-boyfriend. So anyway, he saw a very sad, skinny lady, walking around in pain. He left out and just went to stand outside the villa just to give them their privacy, their time to grieve. And what he noticed was when he went out, all of a sudden there was laughter coming out of the villa. So they are in there laughing as Shanquella's body basically is being taken away from the villa. So they found something to laugh about. They could not be moved to find tears. Since they're sitting around there all relaxed, according to the concierge, but they had something that they could laugh about as her body is being taken away out of the villa. That is despicable. So they started the smear campaign. They're laughing over her body. If we thought it couldn't get any worse, that just put the nail right in it. And the fact that we have this on video and that there was actual interviews that were done with witnesses at the time, and these people are still walking around not having been called into account for any of it. Yet when you want to think back to OJ, they found a bloody glove at the house and then they were on his butt immediately after, hours long chasing him through the highways. Come on now. But 5 months later, we have video evidence of what went down and testimony of what was observed after the fact. And nothing's done. Nothing's done. Crazy. So anyway, it doesn't stop there. He heard them laughing. His boss told him to go back to the main area. He went back Hours later, he gets another text from Dejanay. Dejanay is like, can you send us some transportation? We need to get something to eat. They haven't eaten all day because of what's going down. And so he says, sure. He gets them transportation. So they go. Later on that evening, the person who did the driving for them reaches out to the concierge. Oh yeah, I took him to the airport hotel. So immediately, airport hotel, they don't have any other restaurants than something at the airport hotel? What's that about? But no, that didn't really click in his mind at the time, according to him. He was just like, okay. Nothing really clicked about that until the next day around 11 o'clock in the morning, which at this point is Sunday. He gets an outreach from the maid who told her there was nobody in the villa. Let him know the villa's empty. Everybody gone. Now, he's checking. He knows no one checked out. They didn't see him about checking out. He was the one they would have talked to. So, everybody gone. And he's looking like, what's happening? So now the whole airport hotel thing is starting to like, wait a minute. It's ringing alarm bells. So he sent a text message to Dejanay. Dejanay does not respond. She basically does not get back to him until Monday, October 31st. So this is a day after he found out that no one's in the villa any longer. So when she gets back to him, she's like, oh, do we need to sign anything? If so, email me because we gone. We ain't that no more. We back in the U.S. So now he's like, okay, well, And I guess I shouldn't say it rang alarm bells because at this point he just probably was just thinking it was weird. It wasn't like alarming because to his knowledge, it was just alcohol poisoning. Wasn't thinking anything else at the time until days later when that video went viral and he saw it on social media and he was like, they just played him. He said that once he saw that video, he knew that she had manipulated him. Dejanay had basically manipulated him and got him to basically help them leave the country as soon as possible. And that's what we all knew. We all knew they fled the scene. We knew that. But now here's the actual concierge who's verifying that he felt that they manipulated him, that Dejanay manipulated him so that they can be able to leave as soon as possible, based on what he saw in that video. And now putting the pieces together, he felt manipulated. Again, we already knew that. But the question is, why, when we have all this, we have video evidence, these reports have been in existence since November of 2022, as he gave this interview to the Mexican police back then. This is basically what the police based their investigation on. This is how they got Dejanay Jackson's name to put on that arrest warrant that they sent to Interpol and to FBI. We've known all of this for months, but still nothing has happened. But in hopes, because Shanquella Robinson is on the case, Ben Crump is on the case, we are finally actually seeing momentum, as far as look at all the information that we do have coming out now, because they know that unfortunately they can't keep everything under wraps, because basically FBI has been keeping mum. They haven't been telling them anything. They don't seem to have made the case a priority. I mean, it is almost 5 months later, and the White House is just now speaking out about saying what a devastating situation that was. Just the White House is now just speaking out, saying what a devastating situation that was. So we know that we have to keep pushing. We have to keep the story out there. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to keep the story out there so that justice can prevail in this situation. So justice to Shanquella Robinson and her family. Our prayers and thoughts go out to them. The other thing that did come out of that press conference back on March 3rd, Ben Crump gave one or two options that could happen. Either the U.S. could extradite those responsible back to Mexico, or Mexico gave permission for the U.S. to take jurisdiction. So they are willing to hand the case over to the U.S. without any, hassle at all. And I, for one, am like, let's do that. Let's do that option. Because for some reason, I don't know, their feet have been kind of slow on getting the extradition process going. So let's let the FBI handle it. It takes the whole red tape out of it, right? We don't have to worry about extradition to another country. They can get started on justice right here and right now for the Cabo 6. And actually, we know what initially happened when Shanquella's mother found out about what had happened to her daughter when she was just told that it was alcohol poisoning, and the Mexican authorities told her there was no foul play involved, there was no investigation, and she had to actually have that video and force them to actually look into and investigate the situation before they were like, oh, something did go down here. This is weird. So basically, hey, yeah, let's keep it in the U.S. because who knows? It's not like we can ever really verify what's going down there. And if they were able to flee the country, to get a doctor on site to verify whatever stories they were making up, whatever smear campaign they were making up, then who knows what they could do when they actually supposedly were extradited for justice to Mexico. So yeah, let's handle it here where we can actually see and know what's being done to get justice for Shanquella Robinson. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Let me know what you're thinking. What do you think about these new revelations? Did it just confirm everything that you knew all along? Did you hear something different? Let us know what's going on, what you think. Bye.